Good afternoon, everybody. It's February 12th, 2025, and we've got a full moon. Yeah, a lot of things happen on full moons. There are a lot more car accidents, the tide is high, emotions run high, more babies are born on a full moon. And speaking of babies, no, it's not me. I did not have a baby. I'm beyond the baby phase. But do you remember I told you a couple of months ago, Jezzy, across the street, Jezebel? She kept hounding me about a female cat, big fluffy cat. When I told her it wasn't mine, she kept on me. She was probably paid to harass me to take this cat. So I took the cat. And a couple of weeks before that, I found another cat underneath my deck. And they look so much alike. They actually look like mother and daughter. Two black fluffy cats. The little one at the time, I'm going to say she couldn't have been more than 3 months old. The one who looked like the mama, she didn't look like she was more than 7 months old. They were not too far apart. We've had such bad weather. I did look up a local vet, and I've got to get them to the vet. But in between, one of them got knocked up. And I noticed over the last few weeks, the belly's growing. I'm shaking my head thinking, I don't want any more cats, and this should not have happened, and all of my cats are spayed and neutered and stuff. I didn't want to go through this again. But people keep dumping cats on my property. And of course, the bitch diagonally across the street literally set me up to take another cat in the wintertime, knowing, I wasn't going to have a vet appointment at that time. The weather's been so bad here. So, this morning I go in to clean up after my cats, and I notice one is missing. But in the corner somewhere, I hear this little teeny weeny squeaking voice, and it's like, oh no. I couldn't find them until I went in again, and I saw the mommy, the new mother, walking around. I cleaned her up, and then I found where she had them, and lo and behold, 4 little kittens. 2 of them gave it away. I know who the father is. I know who the father is. It's Popcorn. I've never seen him do it. Most of the time, he's been hanging out outside. He hasn't even been going in at night. And maybe it's because he had a dirty little secret that he knocked up my little girl. Well, I'm now a grandmother again. I've got 4 little kittens. I haven't photographed them yet. They're too little, but anybody that wants to donate a couple of bucks to help with some extra formula for them, cat milk, you can do so through Chewy.com. Anyway, these criminals are really on me, health-wise. After I got back in to my house from opening up the gate and getting the mail, somebody, the boots on the ground, criminal, cloaked person, was in and out of my house and threw a stink bomb. Threw a malodorous something spray inside my house. I had to open up the door, the window. It smelled like broccoli. And this is the second time this has happened in probably, I'm going to say, 2 months. And then approximately 3 p.m., and again, this is evidentiary for the record. In case anything happens to me, I'm just going to say, when I moved to Kentucky, I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. There are no health issues in my family, except for my father who smoked cigarettes, and then they gave him a heart attack. Yes, they gave him, because he smoked like 3 packs of cigarettes a day. But otherwise, he was perfectly healthy. He lifted weights. He had a full head of hair. He didn't really eat any junk food and stuff. He ate like real good food and stuff. And like I said, he worked out. My mother was perfectly healthy. You know what happened to her. at the age of 83, they unalived her. She was perfectly healthy, even had a doctor appointment a month before, came back clean bill of health. And the reason I tell you this is because I walked out of the chicken coop after cleaning it. I'm tired. Yes, I'm tired. I walk out the front door and I am assaulted with dew, directed energy weapon, to the middle of my chest. That's right, the middle of my chest. So if anything happens to me, if for some reason I come up with a heart attack, it was induced. It doesn't run in my family. And again, when I moved to Kentucky, don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. Literally, I was probably the healthiest person in the whole neighborhood. Because everybody around here needs to lose at least 10 or 15 pounds. They eat like shit. They smoke, they spit, they chew tobacco, they drink alcohol, and do pop pills. I don't do any of that. Never did, never will, won't happen. So anyway, I needed to state that. Now, I'm sure you heard, maybe you did or didn't, well, Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed as the intelligence director. Yes, we're very excited about that. And I like her. I like her a lot. I think she's going to do good things. I think she supports the president. I also heard, now I don't know if this is true, leave a comment down below if you have heard about this, that Elon is considering or bidding on OpenAI ChatGPT. And from what I saw, only on one report, that he is the highest bidder, which, I mean, that would make sense. I mean, he's probably got more money than anybody else on the planet. So I don't know how that would change anything. Leave a comment down below if you've heard anything about that. I've also noticed that in my my channel contents, the 2 videos that I posted this morning, shielding with the gaming mouse pad and the noise cancellation that was sabotaged, destroyed, the kerosene fungus that's been sprayed. And oh, and by the way, I'm using the word kerosene bubbly fungus because I asked ChatGPT probably a month or so ago. I described what's been happening to my soil, my property, and I said, I think it's some kind of a mold or a fungus. What could it possibly be? Well, ChatGPT confirmed my wildest suspicions and said that it could be kerosene fungus, it could be a mold, it could be a whole bunch of other things, and that it does kill the grass, and it is greasy, and it does look bubbly, and all of those things. And I saved it somewhere. I'm not going to go look for it now. But if anybody who is viewing those photos, let me know if you have a house or a home or a property, and if you have seen this anywhere. And this is not just in one little section. This is everywhere. These are not worm casings. It's not poop. This stuff happens overnight, and it's spread with a drone. It's being dropped on my property, just the way they're spraying us with the trails and stuff. And I was watching a YouTube creator homesteading off the grid, and the guy's name is Kevin Lake. And he comes right on and says, this channel has nothing to do with homesteading. Zero. He's a targeted person. Makes no bones about it. He's targeted. He takes stories from other people. So if anybody wants to contact him, anonymously or not, I mean, just the way you do with me, I will take your testimony. Anything that you want to share with me, with or without your name, your location, anything that you want me to share on my channel, specifically, well, news, of course, because I don't read all the news, but specifically your targeting. We need to get the message out there. If you want to give me a thumbnail, you want to share a photo that I will use as a thumbnail. If you send me a whole bunch of photos and no testimony and just tell me what it is, I can post it in the community page, but I get inundated. I have a limited amount of time. I prefer to read something as a video. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, whatever it is. I prefer to do a video because that's something savable. The posts and stuff like that, they're not easily saved, just so you know. And they're not easy to find. You just have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to find the old ones. So now we're going to get on with, I keep getting these flashing that my hard drive space is low. Do you have any idea how much stuff I've deleted? I haven't added anything new today. So I'm going to go back to Tactics, Part 9. I'm just going to read a little bit, and because I've got other videos that I want to read. And this is on the hidden evil. So this is brighting. Vehicular brighting is an attack. It seems to be strategically used with corners. For instance, if you're targeted and you're walking down a quiet street late at night, you'll see vehicles repeatedly turn onto or off of connecting streets. Their timing is such that they continually turn the corners while you're at it. This effectively blinds you. This happens frequently at corners, or as you walk down a side street, there's one or more cars parked on the side facing your direction with the lights on. They will also wait for you to approach them and then pull out into the street, thereby brightening you as you walk by. These brightening tactics are maximized when a vehicle has one headlight grossly misaligned. The misalignment produces a high beaming effect. Like other tactics, frequencies and duration play an important role here. Lights being shined into a target's windows have also been reported, like here in Jackson County, Kentucky. But after 6 years, it turned off. I guess they lost their contract, and my neighbor next door, they turned off their light finally. The misalignment produces high beaming effect. Like other tactics, frequency and duration play an important role here. Lights being shined into a target's windows have been reported. Among the most common non-lethal weapons are bright lights, wrote Dr. Alexander in his book, Winning the War. He says, quote unquote, the intent is to reduce risks of injury by temporarily hindering the eyesight of the targeted personnel. He also wrote of the use of bright lights on targeted people in his book entitled Future War. The next tactic is blacklisting. Job opportunities will be trashed. Most targeted people are unemployed. Many would be in the street if it were not for parents, siblings, or friends. Targets who are employed are usually mobbed. Remember the definition of mobbing as compared to bullying. Mobbing includes one individual, at least, in a position of authority that has the ability to end it, report it, or persecute the person harassing you, but instead ignores it, participates, and allows the bully to continue. So that includes complicit law enforcement, complicit lawyers, complicit judges, complicit anyone with a badge, complicit anyone in a position of authority. Okay? That includes any of those intelligence agencies that you report your crimes to and do nothing. Progressive financial impoverishment is brought on by termination of the individual's employment and compounded by expenses associated with the harassment, wrote McKinney. During her investigation, she concluded the majority of those now in contact with the project, educated, white-collar professionals, have lost their jobs. Termination of employment in many of these cases involved prefatory harassment by the employer and co-workers, and in parentheses, mobbing. There you go. Somebody in a position of authority is considered to be mobbing, which coincided with the other overt forms of harassment. According to an article in the Christian Science Monitor entitled Blacklisted by the Bank, blacklisting was originally used as foreign policy. At some point, federal organizations obviously decided to start using it on individuals as well. Slander may play an important role in blacklisting. Also, there are blacklists and software packages used to check these lists for suspected. You know, the T word with the ISTS at the side. You know, threats to national security, etc. Apparently, this is a flourishing business, and some organizations are required by law to use it. In August 2004, I mean, again, this is a long time ago, you know, 21 years ago, in 2004, article entitled "The Surveillance Industrial Complex" by the ACLU stated an entire industry has sprung up to produce software that makes it easier for companies to enforce the government's blacklists and other mandates. So, an entire industry makes it easier for companies. So this is all mobbing, government mobbing. An example is the Homeland Tracker. It's produced by a subsidiary of the giant database company ChoicePoint to help any business comply with OFAC and the USA Patriot Act regulations. The article notes that the software has a feature called Accept and Deny Lists, otherwise known as Blacklists. Federal law enforcement has sent these watch lists to corporations. They contained the names of individuals that were not under official investigation or wanted, but the agency, they just had an interest in them. We already know that some of these agencies are targeting and harassing citizens, and unbeknownst to many, these agencies are apparently deliberately destroying careers on a massive scale. Wired News Wire spoke of these blacklists August 9, 2004. In an article entitled "Big Business Becoming Big Brother," the article concluded, "There is no way to determine how many job applicants might have been denied work because their names appeared on the list." A form of blacklisting has also been used on Russian dissidents by the state, and in his book, The Persecutor, by Sergei Kordakov, a member of the Plainclothes People's Brigade declared, once a person was targeted, they were treated like a leper and could only get the worst jobs. And to accomplish this blacklisting, the USSR used something called a workbook. The workbook was used to advance or destroy careers. If you were cooperative with the state, your career would be very successful. And if not, you would live in poverty. In East Germany, dissidents were blacklisted as well, and their careers were destroyed. And after the wall came down, they were all allowed to inspect their files and learned why they were unable to get jobs or enter the universities. Dr. Munzert speaks of the similarity between what is happening now and what occurred in Germany. And he said the goal is to bring their finances down by making them lose their job. Your financial state is destroyed, added Moray. Oh, they did this with my cat rescue. When I was still living in New Jersey, they contacted my supporters. There was one man in New York who donated several $1,000s to our rescue. He wouldn't even talk to me anymore, and I could not understand why. And then there was a jeweler in Connecticut that she was designing jewelry for the Grammy Awards, and I worked with her to design a pendant using my logo for my Freya's cat rescue. And I was working really well with her, and then suddenly she didn't give me the money that was due to us in December for all the promotion I did of her jewelry and mine. She was non-communicative via phone, via email, or certified letter. She sold her soul. Her name is Myra Alecki. And just for the record, I've got the certified mail, I've got the emails and everything, Myra. You sold your soul to the devil. They lied to you about me. They lied. Doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you just stupid. Don't believe the lies you hear. You go to the person first. If somebody came to me, I mean, I'm just going to sidetrack a little. Somebody came to me and started telling me something about a business partner. First of all, I can think for myself. I would do a little research. I would be curious as to why the person came to me to tell me that story about somebody that I was working with trying to sabotage the relationship. That's how I would look at it. And if somebody had a badge, I would question it even more. If somebody came to me with a badge, I'd say, can you please give me your business card and I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. So that's what happened. You sell your soul to the devil, you get called out. You eventually get called out on your dirty deeds. But that's what they did to me. They did that to my rescue to prevent us from receiving donations, and then they took down our website. They took down our website in just the way they're sabotaging my YouTube channel and my work here. But anyway, I digress. So interview questions may be asked with accusing or mocking tones. Questions may also be asked during certain key words regarding the environment you just left, which only you and your former coworkers who mobbed you would know. These questions were obviously designed to trigger negative emotions, which have been linked to a previously painful work environment where you experienced mobbing. They may ask these questions over and over using a slightly different syntax. Excuse me. If you're targeted during an interview, you may have potential employers demanding credentials that they didn't list as a requirement in their AD. During phone interviews, you may have employers telling you that you responded to an ad. I'm sorry, AD is ad. Other than the one that you actually responded to. They may tell you that they did not place the ad, or that they placed a slightly different one. You may be told that your updated resume says that you're currently working at a place that you never worked, or a place you worked at a decade ago. And I just want to give you a quick example. When I filed, I wanted a restraining order against my neighbors for tearing down my gate and harassing me, and I went before the judge. I provided him with, and I didn't have to do this, but I provided him with my education history, and to show him that I had a background in this kind of deviant behavior that I'm describing about my neighbors. Well, that wasn't enough for him. Meanwhile, there was nothing that he asked of my neighbors. Zero, nothing. He had the audacity to say, I don't see where you worked here. What does my work history have anything to do with my seeking a restraining order against stalking neighbors, vandalizing my property with a loaded weapon, threatening workers on my property, committing felony crimes? Nothing. It's not a requirement. The harassment is masked in layers of accommodation to help strengthen the illusion that you're not working because you choose to not. For instance, you may have recruiters who have harassed you in the past leave messages on your answering machine or with relatives and friends indicating that there are opportunities available to you. It will be made to look as if you're unemployed due to your choice. The general public may not realize that blacklisting exists because the institutions that use it to operate most major news outlets. Reporters and historians are also blacklisted for reporting corruption or historical facts that the government corporate complex does not want the public to be aware of. Sort of like what happened with that woman Jane Clift. They blacklisted her in the community for merely complaining that she saw somebody trespassing and picking flowers at a public place that should have been protected. But instead she was blacklisted for being nice and reporting a crime. Oh, and did you hear that Edward Snowden is being pardoned? You know, when reporting a crime is being treated as having committed a crime, you're ruled by criminals. Thank you, Mr. Snowden. I'm so glad you're going to be pardoned, but it might not be a good idea to come back to the U.S. just yet. You've been safe in Russia for many years. You might not be as safe here. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying. We've got some not so nice people here these days. Publishers Weekly gives an editorial review on Amazon.com of a book entitled Into the Buzzsaw, authored by Christina Borjenson, Borjsesson, in which they state, "The buzzsaw is what can rip through you when they try to investigate or expose anything in this country's large institutions, be it corporate or government, that they want to keep under wraps." It's sort of like the whole trap, neuter, return fraud. Are you aware that these inexperienced cat rescue people that go out and trap cats and they spay and neuter them and vaccinate them and ear tip them and all that stuff? Are you aware that their victims, 30% of them don't make it through that process? 30%. That's right. They could have lived a healthier life outside. I'll bet may have been a little shorter life than living inside of a house. But through trap, neuter, return, 30% will die. The review continues, reporters who tattle risk losing their jobs and being blacklisted by concerted corporate and or government efforts to unalive their controversial stories and their careers. And then there's communications interference. These tactics include the target's experience tampering with lost mail. The target's mail is intercepted, said Moray. There are thefts and tampering. During the former version of COINTELPRO, they would blatantly watch homes, follow cars, and open mail. The idea was to get as much info as possible to aid in the harassment and intimidation of their targets. The Stasi, too. They inspected all mail in secret rooms above the post office. Oh, yeah, you know what they're doing with mine? They're intercepting my little cat pictures that I buy on eBay. Like this, they're stealing these in the name of national security. Yes, it is a national security threat to purchase little ACOU paintings just like this one. They steal them from my mail. Targets may also be stalked online. They search the search engine results may be filtered, blocked, and replaced with information in a target's personal life. Websites that a target visits may be spoofed and contain information which is apparently intended to let the target know that they're being stalked in the internet as well. And this appears to be simply an online version of the public stalking. You know, like those cyber stalker bots. The ones that leave derogatory comments that, "Oh, you appear to be paranoid," or, "Oh, you need some mental health check." "Oh, you sound schizophrenic." When you get those comments, guys, just remember, these are people that have no psychological background. It's considered to be misinformation. They're literally practicing psychiatry without the ability to diagnose someone. So you immediately report them for misinformation and block them. If you're targeted, you may receive unsolicited email that parallels a current event in your life, or you may receive covert insults and threats. If you join a support group, you may receive harassment via threads posted on message boards. And like other mediums of harassment, these topics of these threads may be about events that are unfolding in your personal life, as well as threats or insults covertly directed at you. Your emails may be blocked or filtered, and your web activity may be monitored. Carnivore. What a name, hey? carnivore. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, like, so this is like really insulting. Carnivore DCS 1000 or similar tracking software can accomplish some of this. If you try to sell things online, participate in online discussion groups, or respond to employment ads, you will probably be interrupted, trashed, or harassed. It's sort of like in the last week, I received a whole bunch of bots targeting my eBay store. I had one person that asked, is this still available? They didn't read the listing. The listing had a photo of kittens. And these losers, they go, is this still, I'm selling photos. Is this still available? And then another one said, just in an email, hi. Please don't waste my time. Some people reported that their inbox is clogged with junk messages, even if they have filters on. These unsolicited emails may contain cryptic, borderline subliminal attacks. The words will be garbled but contain letters that convey a message when arranged in the correct order, or they may contain a sound-like message. Your mind automatically pieces these letters together and they make sense. This is done on the fly without your being aware of it. These messages may contain junk in the body, and the TI may not be able to reply to it because it came from a bogus address. These cryptic attacks are mentioned in the book, Subliminal Mind Control by John J. Williams. And if you're targeted, the message will probably pertain to something in your life situation. Any weaknesses you have will be exploited. For instance, if you're going bald or have been looking for treatment, you could receive the following attack. To John Doe, subject, Euro-Paulding tummy. And in the body, there's like all this gibberish. Then it says, the harassment of some targeted people is apparently broadcasted around the country via closed-circuit TV. In the workplace, this can easily be done by surveillance systems, which many businesses now have in place. A report based on survey conducted over 500 companies appeared in the May 19, 2005 issue, 2005, 20 years ago, of Business Wire in an article entitled Statistics Show Rise in Surveillance of Workers. It stated more than half of the companies surveyed use video monitoring to counter theft, violence, and sabotage. And that number of businesses conducting surveillance is increasing. Could you imagine what it is now in 2025? Oh, and just so you know, we've got the fog going on. Right now, we've got the fog outside. McKinney has witnessed surveillance films of people being gang-stalked in the office. She declared that it might be used for the purpose of creating a sense of unity and for identifying TIs who are to be harassed on the street. In addition to facilitating group cohesiveness and identifying targeted people, McKinney noted that it appears to be a major source of entertainment for the individuals participating in this harassment. This is how sick these sick puppies are. These perverts, these losers, these voyeurs, these peeping Toms and peeping Janes, these incels. Right? Is that what they call these guys now that can't get a girlfriend and have to... I can't say it. You know, they have to do their own selves. They haven't been able to get a girlfriend. They're called incels because all they do is sit behind a computer playing with their joystick. Similarly, moreover, degenerates have been known to record their actions so they can relive the experience. Covert workplace surveillance is big business. Stated Denver Rocky Mountain News. This is April 30, 2001. 2001, guys. Secret monitoring of employees has grown dramatically, echoed Knight Rider in their August 6, 1997 article entitled, The Boss is Watching as Workplace Surveillance Grows. And according to these publications, the equipment is installed after hours and includes miniature cameras hidden in thermostats, light switches, and on walls and ceilings that are located in changing areas, locker rooms, break rooms, and even bathrooms. Apparently, there have been some lawsuits concerning this. So I'm going to end here. So, to recap, I just read, this is Tactics Part 9, the Hidden Evil Targeted Individuals. And let's see, we did the blacklisting, the brighting, traveling, and Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed. Yippee! Tulsi Gabbard's been confirmed. Elon Musk may or may not be bidding on OpenAI, ChatGPT. And yes, ChatGPT did tell me about the fungus on my grass. And lastly, I had a physical assault on my body from a distance from a weapon system at 3 p.m. today to the center of my chest as I was walking out of chicken coop number 2. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please leave a comment down below. Please share if you feel inclined to do so, and hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later, guys.